Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. This is Keith, and for today I'm back with another medical technology related video. And if you have watched my previous video, I talked about my experience being a medical technology student at Cebu Doctors University, and yeah, it was one of the videos that I'm very proud of because I actually got a little bit more personal and I was able to share to you guys like advices and tips that actually helped out some of the students that I know. Yeah, I was very happy with the response that I got from people about it. So today I decided that I'm gonna make another video and I am going to be talking about my preparation for my board exam that I took up last September 2019. So for today's video, I honestly do not have a pattern on how I'm gonna go about with things that I'm going to be talking about, so I'm probably gonna veer off track. April, I graduated. On May and June, I really did took the time off before I start reviewing for the board exam because the board exam was on September 2019, and I told myself that I'm gonna spend these 2 months to really just relax and rest because it's been 4 years of studying. Like, come on, everybody needs a break. So yeah, it was just a fun experience because I went on a vacation. I went to Bohol and Bacolod, and I was able to see my relatives that I haven't seen in years. So it was just a fun experience. Overall, I didn't regret not studying during those months, but I do know some of my batchmates who are already studying for the board exam during those 2 months, so good for them. I respect that. Anyways, review started on July. I did enroll myself in a review center. It was just in Cebu because I really wanted it to be near and not be away from home because I easily get homesick and I easily get depressed. So I like studying in the comfort of my home and just be in my room and be at peace. So yeah, and also free food, free electricity, no bills to pay. So I think enrolling yourself in a review center is very beneficial because they would actually be sharing to you guys some tips and tricks, advices, and they would just give you basically a background of how it's gonna go in the board exam. So like you would be prepared because you know you've been preparing to be prepared for the board exam. This is kind of like the closure exam for medical technology. I really did, I was dead on serious about this whole thing because I just really wanted to pass and put an end to it already. Like my student life, I wanted it to end so badly. So yeah, I did really focus on studying. So I decided that I'm gonna be enrolling in a review center because if I did self-studying, like I wouldn't be able to focus, and also I would panic because like I said, medical technology is a broad field with like many different subjects. So and also in each subjects there are a lot of topics that you have to take in a short amount of time. You only got a few months before the board exam, so like you really have to be wise on how you'll be allocating your time on studying. So that's why I came up with my own study schedule, and I really came up with something that worked well for me. Also, I decided to enroll because there are topics that I really want to go back to because I think I already forgot them because it's been 2 years, but like there's just, like I said, there's just a lot of information, so like it might be confusing already. So I really just wanted to go back to it, make sure that it was discussed again so that I would remember. And then also there are certain topics that I'm still confused with, and I wanted to go back to that so that I could settle my thoughts with it and I wouldn't be confused anymore if it was discussed to me again. And actually it was very fast-paced, but at the same time, like, you would understand everything. Honestly, it was draining because you're going to be talking about a lot of topics in just one day. So basically you're going to be covering up probably like months of topics in just one day. So it was a lot to take in. It's very draining, and that's why I eat a lot of snacks, and that's how I cope. When it comes to the topics that I got so confused of, and I got really like just topics that I think I'm really not good at, I really put my focus on it because I needed to understand that. And you know, this isn't just something that you can be so complacent about because like this is the board exam and this is the exam that's gonna give you your license, so you really have to do your best. And every time I get so lazy and not interested in listening on a certain topic, I would remind myself that this could come out, and even though it's one item, it's really gonna help you out. So every item is very, very important because it will help you pass. So that's what I just remind myself every time I slack off. So I mean, it works because it gives me the anxiety that I have to really focus, and just I have to know this, at the end of the day I have to go home and be at peace knowing that I already know this topic. So it's just how it worked for me. Also, with my study schedule, I realized that with how the classes are going, it's very fast paced. And like, say for example, they're going to be talking about clinical chemistry for 3 days, and then after that they're going to have an exam. Then after the exam they're going to jump into a different subject. And like, say for example, they're going to jump into clinical microscopy. And to me, like, if I keep on jumping into a different subject and not really finishing one subject at a time, it's gonna give me a lot of anxiety that I probably won't be able to finish anything. So I decided I'm gonna make my own schedule. What I did was I separated it into different weeks. So on the first week, I'd solely be focusing on clinical chemistry. The next week, I would be focusing on clinical microscopy. On the third week, I'd be focusing on microbiology. So it worked for me because actually I was kind of pressuring myself to finish studying this certain subject in a week, because I told myself that even though I don't finish studying this certain subject, I have to jump to a different subject if like that is my next schedule. Like, for example, if I don't finish clinical chemistry in a week, I'd have to proceed with clinical microscopy, because that's how I stay disciplined, to really train myself to study this and stick with it and finish the goal that I have for that week. And obviously nobody's perfect, so I never really finish anything. With that, I actually I made a lot of progress with that kind of schedule, so that makes me happy. And like I said, I don't really finish anything in just one go, but I do proceed to a different subject because I wanted to stick to my schedule. Otherwise, I probably get an anxiety again. I'm just really an anxious person. Like, I get anxiety over the smallest things. You have to find something that really works better for you. Like, for example, my brain works well with multitasking because it works this way. While I was studying, I was actually watching medical series, and that prevents me from falling asleep or being too bored with this subject. So that made me stick with like one subject in a week, because like, if you just study and not do anything else, you'll get bored and it's like, I don't even want to do this anymore. You'll think that way. So when I started watching medical series while I'm studying this one subject, it was actually fun for me. I wasn't sleepy, so it did work. And I feel like if you're good at that, then you should do it. It's just that you have to really remember that you shouldn't be slacking off, and you shouldn't be distracted by what you're watching. Like, if you're watching this, you also have to focus on studying. Like, I just basically do it at the same time. So, but that's just how it worked for me. Like, my brain works better if I'm doing two things at a time. So yeah. And people think, actually they were worried, like some people were worried because they said it's very distracting if you're watching something and you're studying at the same time. But that's just me, and that's what worked for me, so that's what I followed. And you shouldn't be too pressured about it. You gotta find something that works better for you. If you know this one works better for you, then go do it, because we have different ways of preparing for the board exam, and we only want to do what's best for us. So stop looking at other people and stop being so pressured about other people on what they have already finished and what they have accomplished. Just focus on yourself, and so you won't it won't mess up with your mental health and not like be pressured for no reason. Like, you gotta stick with what you're doing and not be like, don't keep on looking around other people and ask them what they have accomplished already, because trust me, it wouldn't help. With my sleep schedule, it did change, and I purposely did change it because I know for a fact that my mind works better at night. And so I didn't want to wake up super early in the morning, start studying and absorbing nothing at all and just wasting my energy on that. I adjusted my sleep schedule, and then I sleep late because at night that's when I usually start studying. So it works this way. I wake up at 12 noon, I take my brunch, and since it's still too early for me at least, So I'd go to a cafe with no internet connection. I mean, the cafe that I went to, it has an internet connection, but it was super bad. So like you can't really check in your social media. You can go on YouTube. It was just like that. So I wasn't tempted to um, go on my phone and just browse on social media. So it worked for me because I was able to focus on studying. What I did was I was just listening to to music, so I wouldn't be able to fall asleep or get bored. And then I usually finish at 8. After going to the cafe, I go home and then eat my dinner, go shower, and then start the studying session. This is the real study session now because it's already in the evening and this is when my mind actually works faster, so I really do take advantage of that time. Whenever I have early review classes, I usually finish at 1 or 2 a.m. in the morning, and then I sleep and then I wake up early. But then if like my classes don't start super early, I usually wake up at I usually go to sleep at 3 a.m. to 4, so that's just how messed up my body clock was. I didn't understand what was going on, but like somehow it worked for me. You gotta use all of the things that is to your advantage. Like you have to figure out your study schedule, you have to figure out your sleep schedule, you have to figure out your study techniques, and also one thing that I did to really remember things better is I made like visual aids and then I put it up on my wall. So like in the morning when you wake up, I wake up at noon, but like, when you wake up, you start to memorize all of those things before you completely get out of bed. So like I put up a lot of like normal values and stuff that just are confusing to me. A lot of numbers actually, analytes, stuff like that I think I would easily forget. I put it up on my wall. Before I completely get up in the morning, I would really memorize them, and then I have my brunch. People probably think that I just focus on studying, but like in reality, I also really had made sure that I spend time with my friends. So we still go out to eat, we still go out like just to have fun and hang out, and then on weekends we meet. Like I need those things to keep me mentally healthy, because if I just go on with studying and not meeting other people, like I would totally be depressed. So like somehow that my friends kept me sane, so I'm really thankful about that. And also my boyfriend was very supportive, so I'm very, very thankful about that. He is just so nice. So he's very supportive and is always encouraging me that I could, like, he says a lot of positive things, that I could pass, I could do this. Like somehow that really gave me the motivation to finish studying and just like really do my best. For the board exams, I was actually like super nervous days before, like especially the day before. I didn't even study anymore. Like the day before the board exam itself, I really needed to be early on the site. Like I have to make sure I don't forget anything. So you really have to check, double check again. Like the day before, you have to double check if your things are prepared. The day when you wake up for the board exam, you have to double check again, make sure you do not forget anything at all. Board exam day, first day, I arrived on the site of the exam. I forgot what the name of the school was, but it wasn't a CDU. It was in a different school, and there were just lots of people already so early in the morning holding their notes. Like they're holding notes that are really like this thick. I didn't even bring anything myself because I don't want to study anymore. So like don't be pressured, and if you know that that's what works best for you, because if I would keep on studying like that morning, I would just panic and I don't want to block out. So my dad drove me to the exam site, so I was there pretty early and I was super duper nervous, but like at the same time I was thinking, the hell, who cares, I'm gonna take it. And then actually I know a few people who almost backed out, but I'm so glad that it didn't, because they actually passed. So that's why you really have to be strong-willed to be there and think that you're ready, that just have that mindset that I'm ready, I'm gonna take this, I'm not gonna back down, because I've been preparing for this for months and years of preparation. So I'm gonna take this, I'm gonna put a closure to my medical technology student life, and that's just what I've been thinking. So it was never in my mind to back out. This one thing why you should be trusting the system if you're studying at Cebu Doctors University, because you will be prepared for the board exam. Like, even when you think you're not ready, you are ready, just as long as you've studied hard. And honestly, like, it's just a lot of information, you know, but I always told myself I graduated from this university. They gave us really good training. I enrolled myself in a review center. I'm dead on ready. I'm gonna take this. And of course, that doesn't mean that I'm nervous. Everyone was nervous. And also, they have this superstitious belief that you should wear red underwear for good luck. And like, I didn't even panic that my underwear wasn't red. I'm like, this underwear color isn't gonna save my ass if I'm not prepared. Like, even if you're wearing red, blue, whatever underwear color it is, if you didn't prepare enough, you're gonna fail. It doesn't make a difference. But like, you know, there's nothing bad about believing in that. But like, yeah, I mean, just a lot of people did. But like, I didn't even wear red underwear, but like, I wasn't too worried about it. I'm like, dude, if I'm gonna fail, I'm gonna fail, even though I'm wearing red, and nothing you can do about that. And also, after going back after the first day, I was super tired and drained, and like, I literally put all of my brain cells in those exams that I took. So I was pretty tired, and some of my schoolmates were studying already for the subjects in the next day. But like, I didn't even study a single note. I didn't pick up any notes at all, and I actually just went out with my family for dinner. Like, we went to a really nice restaurant, and I just decided that I'm gonna relax, I'm gonna eat good food and be prepared for tomorrow. So like, it was a fun time actually, because like, I told them like, I think I did okay in the exam. But like, at the same time, I was still worried because, you know, the results aren't out. It's not finished yet. So I'm like, yeah, but I didn't study at all. I just went out with my family and just ate. And then we went back home. I slept, prepared for the next day. Yep. And so, but then I passed, and it was just an amazing feeling, honestly. Like, I feel like we waited for the results for 3 days. Those 3 days were one of the longest wait I've ever experienced in my life, and I was just super nervous waiting for the results. And when it finally came out, we didn't actually look into our individual names. We looked at first the top schools who got 100% passing rate, and our university was one of them, so that means all of us passed. And so I just celebrated and looked for my name, and it was there, and it was like, yes, I'm finally licensed and finally done with everything, no more studying. So it was just an awesome feeling, and I remember just being so happy about it and literally screaming at home and just celebrating and just yelling, I passed, I passed, I passed, finally RMT. And yeah. And that's it for today, guys. I know it was pretty short, but I feel like that was everything that I really had to say out there. Yeah, I didn't want to add anything more unnecessary because like, I don't want this whole video to be boring. But thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, then please hit the subscribe button. If you want to be notified whenever I have new uploads, then definitely click the notification bell button. And I do hope you check out my previous video, which is also about medical technology. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you for the support. Bye!